Hey, ARESxGOD here, and we needed this episode. We really needed this episode. We're finally getting some answers about Vanitas, his past, the Blue Moon Vampire, now his connection with Misha, and I hope we can all agree we hate Moro. I'm gonna say it again, we really hate Moro. And as per usual with Vanitas, tragedy is everywhere, especially with Vanitas, and not just what happened between him and Moro, even earlier than that. And also getting some more questions after the end of the episode. So let's get into it and talk about it. Now, it picks up from where he left off with Noe biting into Misha, or being made to bite into him, to find out answers about Vanitas, and we get to see flashbacks their meeting, how actually Mikhail met with Vanitas and how he wanted to be called the Misha, even though they had numbers there from Moro 69, nice, and 71. But I gotta say, I wanna get my hands around Moro really badly. That's one crazy ass motherfucker that needs to die. I hate Moro. I really do hate Moro a lot. He didn't care at all about it, just saw them as tools, experimenting onto them. Like, I hate Moro. I can't stress it enough. And he wanted to use them as a link for something, and we'll get to that. Now, Misha was, and still probably easy in a way, because we see him, he has that innocence about him, especially in the past. Probably not to the same level right now in the present or future, however you wanna call it. But in the past, he was so pure and innocent. He didn't know what was happening. Everybody pretty much took advantage of him except Vanitas. He was actually screaming for Vanitas to help him, and Vanitas sacrifices himself, decides to offer himself as a volunteer to take Misha's place in the experiments, and proceeds to do so. We know that Vanitas puts that facade of being an asshole, and he can really be an asshole, but deep down he's a really kind kid, and remember that line. Now, Misha, again, being very cute throughout the episode, such an innocent kid, even wanting to sleep in the same bed as Vanitas, considering him his brother. I think he had a moment of imprinting himself onto him, having a big brother from that moment in that fucked up world. I feel like they were each other's lifeline in a way. Even Vanitas needed Misha, probably even more than Misha needed Vanitas in that moment. Now, we find out exactly what Moro was experimenting, what he was trying to do. He concocted this machine contraption, whatever you want to call it. He wanted to link both of them to the book of Vanitas, and he had two of them made by the Blue Moon Vampire, but he couldn't open them. Just a member of the Blue Moon Vampire clan could, so he wanted to make some fake ones, or quasi members of the clans, how he put it. And he's obsessed. He actually almost had a child tantrum over there because he couldn't open the books. Apparently these books are probably the most powerful instruments in the world. They even have nanomachines somehow, magic technology, Astermite being powered by that. Like this holy grail in the form of a book, and he wasn't stopping at anything to get to them. But I really want to get my hands around Moro even more. After that scene, he was strapping them into the machine, smiling, being happy, and thanking them, of course, Moro, while basically killing them. He didn't even know, just on a side note, hey, you might just turn into vegetables if this doesn't work. And Vanitas actually finally let everything out. I'm gonna kill all of you. Finally letting that rage, dropping that fake nicety he had there just to have a better time, so to say, with Morohios pretending to go along with the experiment. Now we have the experiment finally starting. Everything just basically goes wild. I thought the machine was at fault over there. Something went wrong with the experiment. But before we get to that, I forgot to mention he was actually injecting them with blue moon vampire blood, so trying to make them into fake ones. But the question comes, how did he get that blood though? That's a very important question. Who could have had that blood? I don't know, Moro. Is somebody backing him up, was backing him up from the past? But with the experiment starting, like I said, everything going wild, the lab started to get destroyed, and we have the real blue moon vampire coming in, basically destroying the lab and the experiment and the machines over there just to stop what was going on. And after that, just casually wanted to leave. I came, I stopped what was happening, I just wanna leave right now. But thanks to Misha, and like I said, Vanitas needed Misha a lot more than Misha needed Vanitas, because he so innocent and he was able to call out, help us, take us with you. And even Vanitas called out, not with his voice, but by the way he was acting and the way he was moving over. Even though he didn't say, he couldn't admit it to himself, he wanted to ask for help, he also did ask in that moment. Even the vampire asking him, will you come with me also? And I feel like Misha convinced him a bit with that look, and she takes them with him. We're gonna talk about that, knowing that the church is not gonna bother with them, just gonna try and cover up the experiments, which we know that's very true, especially after what we saw in Moro's return in previous episodes, and where we met Roland also, which I'm still very, very happy about meeting Roland. But yeah, and this was the beginning, sort of like a family in a way, starting their introductions. Misha instantly being so cute every time, so innocent every time he's on screen and has those faces. Apparently she has no name, or at least not one satisfied with. We'll get to that. I think Vanitas mentioned the name Luna at some point, if I remember correctly, so that could be the name they chose. We'll see maybe next episode, because I still have so many questions. We even see the hourglass bracelet, the earring that Vanitas had around her hand, and I was just, ooh, she looks so good. We finally get a full face reveal. I wanted to use that face in the thumbnail, but it would have felt so bad for me to spoil that image just in a thumbnail. Much better just to see the reveal in the episode with her hair down, full face reveal. She looks so amazing, and even Misha commenting, "You're beautiful," and I have to agree, she looks really good. Now, apparently the name Vanitas, it's what people call her. Some call her Vanitas, and he instantly, Vanitas, the character, our main character, going in after her to attack her, assuming she just took them in to eat them or take back her blood. He was still in that flight or fight mode, trying to protect Misha and himself. He didn't know what was happening. I gotta say, I really liked her answer, saying, I simply took you in because you asked for help. And yeah, simple as that. I like her quite a lot, even more from this episode. I was so curious. We got those flashbacks a few episodes ago. This episode kind of became their mother in a way. This was their meeting and how they got to introduce each other, even though she doesn't have a name yet. And Vanitas instantly collapsing, the fatigue got to him, the adrenaline went away after everything he went through. Just, he was out of it, so to say. He starts to take care of him, takes them to a home. Apparently it's a home of a human that she knows, some alchemist or something along those lines. Hopefully we're gonna find out who that person is, or maybe some of you have already figured it out from the anime. If it's from the source material, please don't tell me. I don't want any spoilers for series I do videos on. Now, I like the conversation there with Vanitas. She wanted to sing him a lullaby just to get him to go to sleep, to calm out a bit. And embarrassed Vanitas is always fun, because he was during his sleep he called out for his mother, which took him for quite a shock, a surprise, not believing that he actually called out for his mother, because apparently she died when he was born. And from that moment on, we finally get some informations and something very curious about Vanitas. He lived with his father, some other family after his mother died. His father was a doctor, but apparently his father abandoned that family after meeting his mother, after meeting his mother, and they went with a traveling show in town. Does it sound like somebody we know? Charlatan Parade. So could there be a lot more connecting Vanitas and the Charlatan Parade? And even more now that we know who Naenia is, the queen, so everything is coming back together. This is just me thinking out loud, so to say, but they dropped that hint over there. It could just be a distraction, but it got me thinking. Could there be a connection between Vanitas and the Charlatan Parade? Something to keep in mind. Now, also find out that he looks like his mother, or at least other people told him he looks like his mother. She was very beautiful, and he blames himself, which another character, another thing, they take the blame on themselves for something they had literally zero control over. You are not even a kid, you are a newborn. Complications happen, Vanitas. It's not your fault that your mother died. Now, also see more tragedy, because the fucked up life he had so far wasn't enough. Vampires attacked them. His father died protecting him also, which made him even more angry, because he couldn't get an answer from his father. Why wouldn't his father hate him for his mother dying? Of course he wouldn't hate you, but he has so much guilt that he thinks even his father was hating him. We see he has that point they made a few episodes ago. The possibility of Vanitas would have ended up as Astolfo is very, very true, even more after this episode, because he has those same reactions, saying he hates vampires. He wants to wipe them off the face of the earth, to clean the world. So he could have definitely ended up as Astolfo. Probably if he hadn't met with the Blue Moon Vampire, we could have had an Astolfo 2, or maybe Astolfo 1, so to say. So yeah, that's I like looking back at that scene now, makes a lot more sense. Now we also see slowly he started to feel sorry about the vampires that were getting experimented on also by Moro in the lab, and he said something quite true. Even in our real world, humans are the real monsters, and I still want to kill Moro. This is coming from me, not from Vanitas. Now, the Blue Moon Vampire also asked him why not escape? We find out that Moro faked his death and just threatened him or manipulated him, saying, I'm just gonna get another kid if you don't stay here. And that's even more fucked up. And with how much guilt and how good really Vanitas is at heart, he decided to stay in just insanity in the past of every character, and even the Blue Moon Vampire telling him, you are a kind kid. And that's very true. Like I said, he always tries to put that asshole facade. At some points he is, but deep down he's a really kind character, to a fault, probably too much, even though he tries to deny it. Even to himself, he definitely is a good person. Now, the next morning, I like embarrassed Vanita. He was under the blanket screaming at Misha. Forget last night, nothing happened. I didn't say anything, just forget. Forget it all. And Misha, hey, what should I forget? When you said this, when I like innocent Misha and embarrassed Vanitas quite a lot. But we also have the Blue Moon Vampire trying to take care of them, and she definitely reminded me of Shion from Slime the anime. Poison cooking makes a return, probably even worse than Shion. So to say, actually trying to kill them, even Vanita saying so. She added medicinal herbs to help them get better, but I definitely wouldn't eat that food. Vanitas goes in on her, hey, clean your room, clean around here, do better, do this. And she's also very good. She has that airhead a bit about her, not very worldly, so to say, when it comes to normal things, casual things we take for granted. She hasn't really had to deal with them, and she started sulking, telling, hey, then do it yourself if you can't. And he actually does. He turns himself into Mr. Clean, and Gordon Ramsay over there takes care of them. He's the actual mother, so Vanitas can do everything. Both of them being really cute when they were eating. But yeah, a family, a dysfunctional one, so to say, not a common family, but nonetheless they had a family over there, which made it even more sad after that, because she told them, she was actually being blunt with them, telling them directly. And I like that, instead of lying to them, not telling them what was happening, you both will likely die soon. Can happen in a week, a month, a year, 5 years, whenever, but soon you're both going to die. You're becoming closer to vampires after the experiments, after everything. She takes care of them, sort of becoming like their mother, like I said, which I like that quite a lot, but also made me even more sad after what she said with them dying, but also wants to find a way to save them, which kind of brings me back to a few episodes ago, but we'll get to that. Now, Misha also starts getting sick. I think he was the first one that had symptoms, so to say, getting sick. This is where I'm curious. Misha keeps calling the Blue Moon Vampire father. Now, to me, she kinda looks like a woman, but maybe I'm missing something. Why Misha calls the Blue Moon Vampire father? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm a bit confused as to that. She definitely looks like a woman, but I may be 100% wrong, so correct me in the comments. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that, but she definitely looks like a female, so I could be way off. Even the name they mentioned, Luna, a few episodes ago, seems like a female name. Now, she also has a final solution to make them part of her clan. So basically make them full vampires, full blue moon vampires. Now we have Misha instantly agreeing, wanting to do so, but Vanitas refusing, saying, even if I'm gonna die right now, I want to be a human even in my last moments. Now also see a bit of a flashback with not a lot of context, so to say, as to what happened. She dies in Vanitas's arms, or that's how it looked in a way. It brings me back to a few episodes ago when Vanitas saw Chloe's face and saying, I saw that face before, with somebody that selfishly decided to die. So probably she sacrificed herself to save them and keep them human at the same time, in a way. I'm just assuming over here. I don't know. This was the scene that I'm saying brought in a lot more questions. I feel like that's what probably happened, but I'm not fully sure. We don't have the full context to that flashback, and also what happened to her. It seems really cool. I really hope there's gonna be a way to bring her back. I don't know, something. I would love to see her again. Now back in the present, we have Vanitas making it to Noe, drinking from Misha, and that's where the episode ends. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about next week's episode. This was a very, very needed episode. We're finally getting some answers, even though we got questions also, a ton of them. I'm glad. Vanitas has been this mystery since the beginning of the series, and now we're finally opening the real book of Vanitas, getting some history, some background about him. Even though everything is really tragic, I'm happy to find out more about his past. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about the episode. What do you think about the Blue Moon vampire? And again, correct me if I'm wrong. Is she a male or female, or is it just something that Misha does because him being Misha? As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot. You guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Vanitas. Can't wait for next week. See you in the next one. Bye bye.